Just go somewhere else. I can't take this nonsense anymore. How are you going to blame the defense?
I got the pound. Screw green bean. Damn it.
But once you get to the sausage, I feel like we're doing something.
Go Jets.
What would you give up to see a Jets Super Bowl?
All of my friends and family.
Hit those milk thumbs, boys and girls.
Freeze run.
Hold on to your underwear, ladies, and stand by, bitches. It's now time for Talkin' Jets with your hosts, Matt, Ryan, and Green Bean.
Welcome to Talkin' Jets. My name's Ryan, and I'll be your pilot tonight. I am joined alongside my lovely co-pilots. I got Mr. Green Bean to my this way. I got Mr. Matt O'Leary to my that way. Green Bean, how you doing tonight?
Dude, it won't let me open the video. It's crazy, man.
Green Bean got kicked out of his channel.
I got kicked off YouTube. They're like, see, it's one thing, you can be too young, but my birthday was yesterday, and now it turns out I'm too old. They're like, hey, old man, you don't need to be hanging out with the cool cats, old fella.
He's got his stream set to like the under 6 years old setting.
Yeah, maybe I could switch accounts and see. I don't know. I'm working on it.
Trying to figure
that's
it
where
out.
I am.
Trying to figure it out.
Yeah, maybe I can switch it. I'm now talking. You know what I'm gonna do? All right, I'm in a good mood. All right, guys.
Oh, Larry, how you doing tonight? I hear there's a new addition.
There is Waylon, the golden retriever. I'll show a picture on the screen. He's downstairs with Taylor. Taylor's making Christmas cookies, and he's very interested in that. So I will show a picture. I pulled him up on stream on Sunday, but here is my boy from today.
Oh, just some eye bleach.
He's been good. He loves the snow. Absolutely adores it. He tries to eat it and didn't want to go potty out there for a little bit, but we have since figured that out. So it's been good. Been busy. I'm tired, but it's been fun.
He's so low to the ground, it probably freezes his nipples when he walks.
Oh, 100%. Like his appendage is right in the snow when he goes. So I can't imagine that's fun.
Yes, he's taking after dear old dad. Just wait, that snow's cold and deep. That's what they say, right?
Dragging his junk in the snow.
Yep.
Just like Matt.
He's adorable. That is absolutely awesome.
Particularly cute, man. For real.
Yes.
You bet you got a good one. Who picked it? Or him?
The breeder did, thankfully. So he was one of 8. And we drove to Virginia. I was in Green Bean territory. Back-to-back Saturdays. Went there and back in one day. On the way back with him was the longest. It took about 8.5 hours to get back.
Lots of potty breaks.
But he was really good in the car. What'd you say?
Lots of potty breaks.
Yeah, we did stop. We did stop a lot. But we went down there. We met all the dogs. And then the breeder paired the dogs based on like their personality and what you filled out on a questionnaire to us. So it was fate that chose him, I guess.
I love it. I love it. Welcome to the family, Waylon. You will be wailing because you are a Jets fan now, unfortunately.
Yeah, his first game, nice 48-20 beatdown. Loved it, every minute of it.
Boys and girls.
Welcome to the family, dog. His way it's going to be.
Yeah.
Yep. Life ain't easy as a Jets fan. Get started early.
No, it's not.
Boys and girls, Jets got beat down this past weekend. 6 touchdowns coming by way of Trevor Lawrence. And one Steve Wilks got his walking papers, we found out yesterday. Lazard gets released today. I don't think Jet fans are beat up about either one of these situations at this particular point in time. We have Chris Harris going to be taking over play calling responsibilities for the defense. Going to be helped out a little bit by Aaron Glenn, but he did call plays for the defensive side of the ball during the preseason. So a little bit of experience there. But any thoughts on the game? Green Bean, you were streaming it, so any thoughts on your end while you were tuned in watching?
Yeah, so Trevor Lawrence, as good looking as ever, with his flowing locks of Thor hair. You know what I mean? He looks like Thor out there. It was look, I gotta say, I just want, we're all on Twitter, we're all on YouTube, we're all on Instagram and everything, and we talk to everybody. We're in chats and comment sections. But the live stream is like a compressed, like it's in real time. You can feel people's angst and everything, right? It's really it's a unique, out of all the things I do, it's a unique environment where my job, if you will, is to try to keep it like, so we don't just sit here for 4 hours and just make it the complaint department. I just can't, so I try, me and Jeremy, and we try everything we can to be constructive. And then people tell us we're homers and we got to deal with all that shit. But one of the things that I've identified, all season, but really the past few weeks when we've been, I think more and more people are on Team Tank, is that we want the tank. We want it. We trade players, we bench players, all this, we're not bringing Garrett Wilson back, whatever. People are getting injured and we're losing. But then when we lose, boy, oh boy, are we pissed. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck, I want to win. And we've joked about this. And even, to some degree, we're serious, but we want to be really competitive and lose by a point at the end. Like that's, how fucking hard that is to do.
There's a razor thin margin of error.
Yeah. Like we want to suck, but I don't want to suck. You know what I mean? Like, how can you be a 3-15 or 14 team but still like give us some pride? And then when we get a pride thing, we fought, you're like, no moral victories. Like we've just made this concoction that there's no happiness allowed, none. And then it's funny because then people are like, Brady Cook looked pretty good. I'm like, he sucks. And it's just like all of us. So I don't know, man. Look, I think, we're hearing more and more stuff. Like after this Steve Wilks firing, we're hearing things, right? That there's been a little kind of touches of mutiny and somebody called them out and it's an overly complex defense and there's no real consideration for players' strengths and all that. And a lot of players feel like they're not in a position to make plays and all that. And that Steve Wilks was kind of a my way or the highway guy. And interestingly enough, the last 4 jobs, he tried that shit and they said the highway for you. You know what I mean? Like, go to the highway. We don't want it your way. So, and then he comes here and he does the same thing. So I don't want to put it all, like, it's fun to have a scapegoat because you can blame, right? That's the whole thing with scapegoat. And you go, oh, well, there's the reason. That makes me feel good. We now know why. And I think it's probably accurate to a large extent, but it's not a cure-all. But it is nice. I really am curious. I like that it happened now because for 2 reasons. And the game itself was just a shit show from the word go. Like with the first 8 possessions they scored on. I mean, that's never fun. It's reminiscent of the Cardinals game last year. It was exactly the same feeling. Like you just never really thought the Jets were in it. Mm-hmm. But there's 2 things. One is it gives you, like you were kind of talking about a little bit, Ryan, which is you get a little bit of an opportunity to see Chris Harris, which I don't know. I mean, I don't know what I'm expecting, but it'll just be good to see. I mean, who knows if we get 7 picks in the next 3 games and 50 sacks. I mean, maybe we're like, holy shit, we might have somebody here. But the other thing is this, and this is what we've been talking about all year, and I do believe that this is real. This is not a trying to make lemons out of lemonade type of thing. The accountability piece has been something we've talked about for years, and we've seen it numerous times this year, I think to positive effect. And what I think is one of the main things that needs to change in this organization in order to really do something. Like, it's just not going to be like get a quarterback and the Jets are fixed. Obviously, it's not going to be that. We tried it with Aaron Rodgers, didn't work. There's a much deeper sickness here. So I think showing accountability by benching starters, by trading all pros, by cutting, other guys, fringy type of roster guys. And then even that it goes up to the coaching, I think the messaging is consistent And I think it's positive overall, not just because Steve Wilks is gone, and nobody liked him, like even the hiring. But I think the messaging is also important, that accountability is real here.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That's probably the most, I don't want to say consistent thing, but that is one of the best parts about Glenn so far. I mean, a lot of us didn't think Gibson deserved a roster spot to begin with. He fumbles the ball, he's out the door. You saw it happen with, I don't want to say so much with Sauce and Quinnen, but it's like, hey, we're going to make moves. We're going to do what's right for the team. Wilks, getting rid of him, that's what's right for the team. Like, all these things sort of add up, and you see it across multiple things. You saw Sherwood and Quincy both get benched and then start playing a lot better after those benchings. So I think having that accountability that we were lacking around the Salah regime is a much needed dose of reality / accountability overall. Matt, what were your thoughts on the game and the accountability aspect of, Wilks getting canned?
Yeah, it was just flat out embarrassing. And with all the snow that came down Saturday into Sunday, I didn't get to go on the halftime with Green Bean and vent. I got the snow blower out from my neighbor and did one more quick pass to be good for the rest of the day. But they gave up 31 points in the first half. Jacksonville moved the ball at will. They scored 48 points, and it felt like they took their foot off the gas. Like, they could have. Lawrence had 5 touchdowns. It felt like he could have had 8 if he really tried. And that's the really unfortunate part. And just the effort on some of them, right? Like the screen pass to ETN where he runs for a touchdown. It's like nobody's interested in tackling. Same thing with the Lawrence scramble. He had all day back there, and like Will McDonald looks like he's running about half speed after him, and then he just goes up the sideline, is in the end zone. And after the game, I think it reached the boiling point with Steve Wilks. You had Jermaine Johnson and Quincy Williams pretty much refuse to speak to the media, and I just think the guys, and I don't like that from them. Like, I think to be accountable, like it sucks that after a loss, but you got to go up there and take it on the chin. The coach does it after every game. That you as the player have to do that too if you're asked to. But I just think they were done with him, right? Like he seemed very stubborn to stick to his scheme, and it clearly wasn't working. And it was coming at the end of the year. They just decided to do it 3 weeks early.
Yeah, it's interesting that the two guys didn't want to talk to the media. I guess that is like the epitome of like, I don't have anything nice to say, so I'm not going to say it, which is probably, I guess, in that, like, declining the interview in and of itself says something, but I think that something is better than putting a coach on blast. And I think the way they handled it was still like sort of in a roundabout way, the correct way to do it. It is a little funky that Glenn said, oh, Wilks is our defense coordinator. It is what it is. That's our guy. And then less than 24 hours later, he's fired. So it got a lot of people thinking maybe Woody stepped in and said, hey, someone's got to fall on the sword here. Like, do you guys feel that's what kind of happened? Or was it more of the, hey, I've had some time to reflect on it? Sort of the same thing with Gibson. Cause I think Gibson was like, hey, we got to pick this guy up, and then he's off the team. So like, Matt, I'll throw it to you first, then we'll go to Green Bean. Do you think Woody stepped in at all for this decision?
No, not in the slightest. And it's funny to say that because of how many times that Woody Johnson has stepped in. So I understand why that might be the knee-jerk reaction for some. But I think he kind of hinted that this was coming earlier, or no, it was after the last game against Miami. Mm-hmm. His tone really seemed to change on Steve Wilks. And I think it just got to a point where it's like, this is just not getting fixed, and it seems like it's getting worse and going in the wrong direction, and I have to make a change. And he's shown that and done that, right, with like the Justin Fields benching. He said a lot of great things about Justin Fields, but he decided to bench him. You had the Xavier Gibson example. I'm sure he said nice things about Allen Lazard before he was finally cut. Like, he's not the kind of guy who's going to go to the media and really talk shit on someone. He kind of pumps everyone's tires, which pretty much everyone's coach does that for them. And, behind the scenes, maybe things were different. And I think it was his decision because he realized that this isn't working.
Bean, how about you? You think there was any influence from Woody in this decision?
No, I think if we're paying attention and we're not just throwing stones and yelling at shit and making, making noise and all that. You'll notice that Aaron Glenn has been very, very, very consistent in this front, which is when he goes before the media, he doesn't throw anybody under the bus. He actually can be complimentary. He can defend. He's done it with Fields. He's done it with numerous players. He's going to take the heat. He's going to take it. The closest thing that he did, which I think was about as telling as anything you'll see from Aaron Glenn, is he called it his defense. When he said, when referring to Wilks, he said his defense. But like, that's what he's done all year. And I don't think it's going to change. I mean, he's like, we've seen it every single week. And then we try to make heads or tails out of this. And we're like, oh, how can he say that Justin Fields is a good quarterback? And then 3 days later, he's benched. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? It's like, well, because he's not going to do that. Like, it's pay attention to the streams of this whole thing. He goes out front. He's 15 minutes after an emotional game. He's probably pissed. He went and talked to the players, everybody's disappointed. And he comes out and he's not going to be like, oh my God, that guy sucks. Like, they're like, what'd you think of Steve Wilks' performance? He said it's disappointing. He said all the things, but what did we expect him to do? To say that Steve Wilks is going to get fired, or that he's a piece of shit, or, he's not good. No, he's going to go out there and he's going to say the out front coach speak, and then he's going to go back and he's going to do his job. And I think, to what Matt was saying, he went back in his hotel room or his house or wherever the hell he was, and he's watching tape at 4 a.m. and he said, Jesus Christmas, this is so bad. So I think then the player thing, like getting a true gauge on where everybody is, whether or not, I think he was gone at the end of the season, no matter what. These last 2 weeks accelerated that. And I think the defense, I get a sneaking suspicion that they're kind of in protest a little bit. Like, they're not going to, they don't feel that they're being put in the best position, so they're not going to, go out of their way, so to speak. But yeah, man, I think it's Aaron Glenn's decision. I think it makes perfect sense. And again, I think it's very consistent with what we've seen from him, from my vantage point.
Yeah, it's interesting that you said there might be some degree of protest, and I don't love seeing that, but it definitely felt like the last 2 weeks that the defense just didn't have the same zest that it had almost in every other week. Like, I don't even say every other week, but like, I don't know if it was maybe the first 6 games of the season was pretty like lethargic or like not very good. And then they started to pick it up around the end of October, give or take a little bit. And then it kind of like came alive until the last 2 weeks. And now it's just sort of like the wheels fell off, and it felt like the effort very much was not there. Matt mentioned it too. It felt like on the screen pass, guys just didn't feel like it looked like they were trying. So hey, it's time to move on, and hopefully we get something nice with Chris Harris calling the plays. If not, at the very least, you got Glenn to fall back on. Although admittedly, I do want Glenn to still continue focusing on his head coaching roles. And if Harris isn't the guy to be the DC going forward, go out and get us a DC in the off season. So I think we'll. I'm sure people will bring up ideas throughout the chat as we go through this. I want to get to some super chats. Sorless says, Wilks, the ultimate team tank guy. Glad Glenn has the balls to fire him. Yeah, it's almost like between Wilks and Justin Fields no longer being in the cards for us, that we are almost sabotaging our tank to some degree. But it's really this week's the big one. This is the Saints game, and then we've got the Bills and Patriots. I don't expect us to put up much of a fight against those two teams, but the Saints, I think, is a very critical one. So we'll see where that kind of shakes out. I'm going to jump down to Boogie Down Bronx real quick. Thank you so much for the 10 spot. It says, Wilks has managed to get paid for the next 10 years by being one and done with the last 5 clubs. If we can't draft Mendoza in the first, I say trade down to the 9th pick up a 2nd and a 3rd. I mean, I'm totally down for trading back. Well, I guess let me answer the first part of this question. Steve Wilks managing to get bounced around. I mean, for the last 10 years, it feels like he's been one and done everywhere he's been. So when we brought him on initially, it's like, man, this guy just hops around a lot. Like, what's the issue? What is the deal? And I think we sort of figured it out with the my way or the highway type thing.
We know.
Yep. We got it ironed out now. As far as if we can't draft Mendoza in the first, trading down to the 9th pick and picking up a 2nd or a 3rd. If we can't draft Mendoza, I think it depends where the rankings on the wide receivers end up, because I really like Carnell Tate's the one I think I've kind of landed on right now. Maybe that'll change. Tyson I like a lot too, but the Ohio State wide receivers just kind of figure it out all the time. So if you could come away with Tate at whatever pick that ultimately ends up being, if it's 5, if it's 9 in a trade down scenario, I'm cool with that. I do still want to have some answer at quarterback, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a huge investment, because I do kind of align with this thinking a little bit. Like Mendoza's sort of the quarterback I want in the first. If not, Dom's guy, Darian Mensah from Duke, has been getting a lot of hype recently. If you can pick up him in the 2nd round, by the time he starts screaming up boards, maybe that's something that I would consider. But I like the idea of moving down, picking up an extra pick, and then maybe getting one of the wide receivers. Matt, your thoughts on Boogie Down Bronx's super chat here?
I think it depends on where they pick, right? Like right now they're slotted in at number 5. And also, is Dante Moore coming out or not? Because, and who's the first overall pick? Like these are all questions that I think need to be answered for me in this scenario. And I know that's a lot of moving pieces, and that's not fair to Boogie Down to write all that out. But
send in another super chat. We didn't get enough characters in this one.
No, right. But my point is basically, if the Raiders are number 1, they're not going to trade out. They're going to take Fernando Mendoza. If the Giants or the Titans are number 1, they probably would be open for business. So I think that changes things. And also it depends on where the Jets pick, because even if it's not one of the wide receivers, who both guys you mentioned I like a lot, but what if it's Arvell Reese or Reuben Bain? Are you going to pass up on one of those guys to slide back a little bit? I have a hard time doing that, even though I get it, like more picks, there's a lot of holes. But I think you also can make a case they need a blue chip player in some capacity. And if you're picking in the top 5, the chances are with 2 quarterbacks, you can get one of those pieces.
Bean, what about you? What do you think Mendoza in the first? Like, let's say he's not available for the New York Jets, whether it be trade up or at our pick or whatever. Would you like to trade down and pick up the extra picks, or would you like to try and maybe snag a player at the top end of the draft?
Well, I think, Matt was nailing it. But I think, number one, there's going to be more, like, we're so much in the infancy stage. Like, I don't know if you guys saw on our thread on Instagram with Ryan, Ryan, Mondo.
Yeah.
He was talking about Mensah being, kind of, people are getting hip to Mensah, right? And Dom C has had Mensah as his number 2 for a while. And because Dom C, like, we get a lot of accelerated information from Dom C, because we all do our own kind of stuff, when we look at our guys and watch our own tapes and, and stuff. Like, we all do our own thing, but Dom is doing this shit all year. Like, Dom, back in when we were going into training camp, Dom's like, hey, you guys want to do a mock? Like, that's where he is. So we get this kind of early intel. And so Mensah, up until recently, was, considered like a sleeper, like nobody's talking about him. But by the time we get to, the combine and pro days, and then from there, that period between the combine and the draft, there's no stone unturned anymore. It's not like there's very few sleepers. Like, even when we first started this, we all had our guys that nobody was talking about. And it's just, in the past 5 years, it's exploded with how many evaluation sites and mock simulators and all this kind of stuff. But Mensah is very, very interesting. And right now he's considered like, hey, you can get Mensah on day 2. If he really does have any value, he's going to sneak up to the first. Like, this is where Zach Wilson was. And even Trey Lance. Like, they were considered like late first, second round picks. Like, as this process goes, especially if like, Simpson and Moore go back to college, like, every quarterback, it's such a valuable position that they're going to inch up and end up being first round picks. So the Jets might fall in love with one of these guys and take a quarterback. Now, to get to your point, assuming they don't, am I willing to trade back or take a player? I'm in the mood. Like, look, I love draft picks. You guys know it. You guys make fun of me all the time. And it's I'm with it because I do. I love draft picks, but at some point, the value of a draft pick is because you want to take a player. You know what I mean? So I'm really into taking like the top wide receiver, the top linebacker, the top safety, like one of those guys. If you're not going to get your quarterback there and you're thinking, hey man, if he is there with the 18th pick, if that's where it ends, ends up being, if he's there, we'll take him there. If not, we're totally comfortable grabbing somebody in the second and whatever. Then get some premium talent on this team. We got a bunch of money. We're going to go out and get a couple guys that way, but get some real young premium talent to pair with, Garrett Wilson, A.D. Mitchell, and the rest of the guys, Mason Taylor. Like, let's continue to round out this team. And when the quarterback does get here, even if they're not that like premium level quarterback, but if they're just good, maybe the environment is such that they can still succeed. So I don't know. I'm really into trading back, but I gotta say I'm wanting to start bringing in some talent here.
Ablab, thank you so much for the 20 spot, dude. Says, gang, been seeing some DC candidate ideas floating around. To Green Bean's point, his defense framing AG used for Wilks, he wants defensive coordinator. He wants a DC that has a real vision, identity, who won't have to think about it. So he won't have to think about it. So Ablab wants Jim Schwartz. I think that would be a great hire. If he winds up, if they shake things up in Cleveland and he winds up becoming available, I would have no problem with that addition whatsoever. Are there any overlaps with any of these guys? It doesn't look like.
While you're looking, can I give a take on this?
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I've seen a narrative that I find very comical, which is the people don't want Jim Schwartz because he's a retread, and kind of just looping any like retread options in there, right? Like Raheem Morris and Yvette's, because like, oh, well, we just did this with Steve Wilks. There's a major difference.
Yeah.
Jim Schwartz is actually good.
Yeah.
Steve Wilks is one and done 1,000 times. Jim Schwartz was had a great defense with the Eagles and won a Super Bowl. The Browns stink every year, but their defense is good. I know it didn't go well for him in Detroit as a head coach, but he even had 1 year in Buffalo in 2014 before they blew that staff up. And guess what? They had a great defense that year. Like, to me, they're not comparable, Jim Schwartz and Steve Wilks. I don't know why, because you mess up and hire the wrong guy, you can't then hire someone who, yes, he's also held the job before, but difference, he's actually good at it. Like that wasn't computing to me when I've seen that take.
Bean, what about you? What do you think about Jim Schwartz?
What's up, Ablab? Good to see you, bro. I love Jim Schwartz. You know what's funny? I still remember. Do you guys remember this when John Harbaugh was the coach of the Niners and Jim Schwartz was the head coach of the Lions? You guys remember this? And they did something like where I think he might have. Yeah, and Jim Schwartz chased him all the way down the field to yell at him some more. He's like he's a fiery guy, man, and his defenses are routinely among the better defenses. I don't think he's a retread, to Matt's point. I don't think he's a retread in the same way that Steve Wilks is a retread. Like, there are only so many options. And I think it all depends on the chemistry between the defensive coordinator and Aaron Glenn. I mean, I like to a degree what Aaron Glenn's doing. Like, he wants to be the head coach. And it's interesting because even when he was talking about, they were asking about him about Chris Harris, and he really was shying away from the idea of calling the plays. Like, we were all thinking, oh, Aaron Glenn's going to step in and call the plays. And he's really trying not to do that. He said, well, I'm going to help him every step of the way, but he's going to call the plays. And initially I felt like I'm like, man, that's a bad move. I don't know why he's not doing that. And through some conversations, it might've been Blitz Crew, I think it was, that brought up the point that he's focused on learning as best he can how to be the head coach of the team, and taking the last 3 weeks of the season, which is, it's a nice chunk. And, going back to defensive coordinator, it takes that that ability away. And I think I subscribe to that. So I like that idea. So if Jim Schwartz comes in, it'll more than likely be his defense, but I still want Aaron Glenn to have his stamp on this team. Like I don't want it to be every time there's a new coordinator, it's a completely different thing. Like hypothetically, we get good and the defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator gets poached to go do a head coaching thing. And then we got to start all over. Like, I don't like that so much. Like, I think to a degree that has to happen. But if we have our system here, like what we're doing, I think there's value there too. So I would just be a little cautious about that, which is why I do lean toward like a Jim Leonard, if I'm being honest, but could, for the reasons that people are talking about, and his Jets connection and the Denver, Sean Payton, Aaron Glenn, all that stuff. There's a lot of connective tissue there. But if we turned around and we found out that Jim Schwartz was signing to be our defensive coordinator, there's reason to be excited, guys. Like, that's the truth of it. He's a badass. So I would be very happy.
Marvin jumps in with a 10 spot, says, as far as the draft goes, what do you think the teams ahead of the Jets will do? Redrafting a quarterback, ? So talking about the teams in front of us right now, you got the Giants, the Raiders, the Titans, and Cleveland sitting in front of us. The Jets would win the tiebreaker by strength of schedule right now with all the teams. We're tied with the Giants currently, but with all the teams, assuming we lose out, we would beat everyone except for Cleveland. So if we wind up with the same record, the Jets would be picking 2 if all those teams were the same number. But as far as I see it, Giants, they're going to stick with Dart. They're not going anywhere. Raiders, they're definitely going to go quarterback at the top, especially if they're sitting with Mendoza as their option. Titans, they're not going to draft a quarterback. They just took Cam Ward. I would be very surprised if they moved off of him that quickly. I think next year totally opens the door in 2027, especially because they'll have a new head coaching staff this year coming in. So I think they'll give themselves almost 2 swings at the quarterback by holding on to Cam for 1 year with this new coaching staff and then potentially moving off of him after that if they wanted to. Cleveland, I do think they're going to take a quarterback if they like Moore enough. I don't think Shador has shown anything. I think Gabriel's hot cheeks. Pretty terrible, if you ask me. So I do think that's
fresh hot cheeks.
Hot cheeks.
Fresh likes hot cheeks.
Terrible. I don't like Cleveland's quarterback situation, but they do have Deshaun Watson there. So like, I could see some argument where Cleveland could go either way, just because you got Watson coming back from the injury. Do they decide to move off of him after next year? You've already got Shador and Gabriel. Do you kind of give it one additional season, see if either one of those guys does better before going into potentially a better quarterback class in 2027? And then in theory, you'd be getting the second or third best non-quarterback in this draft. So I don't know. I think definitely Vegas, and then Cleveland's a little more up in the air. Matt, your thoughts on the teams in front of us going quarterback?
Yeah, the Giants, no. Titans, no. I think that they're going to stick with Cam Ward and try to figure it out. Browns, yes. Raiders, yes. And those are the only teams in front of the Jets right now. So, big one against the Saints coming up. But, Tyler Shuck, maybe they'd stick with him with how he's played. I wonder if there's any...
we got to... Go on, Ryan, please.
I was going to say, the team sitting behind us, Arizona, has an interesting situation that could go on. Because I could see a scenario where Pete Carroll doesn't want to draft a quarterback because he's so old. Maybe there's some thought of like, hey, we'll trade you Kyler and some first to switch picks with you. And now Arizona's at 2 picking Mendoza, and the Raiders have slid back and gotten Kyler. Like, that's an interesting trade chip that I'm not exactly sure how it plays out. Like, is he more of a salary cap dump where he's not seen as valuable, which I think is entirely possible that's the case.
Wait, say that again. Who?
Arizona is currently picking 6. I could see a situation where Pete Carroll doesn't want to draft a rookie quarterback because he's old. I don't know how long he's going to hang around for. Like, is there a scenario where they're good with like, hey, we'll take Kyler Murray in a trade down situation that gets Arizona up to the Raiders pick. They're taking Mendoza, and then, Kyler goes to Vegas or something along those lines.
That'd be nuts.
I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. Like,
No, right. Your point. I mean, that's a really good point. I mean, Pete Carroll's 97 years old. Why would he want to? And he just revitalized Geno Smith. I mean, don't forget, man, Geno Smith was, considered a mid-level journeyman backup, and they traded Russell Wilson and with the idea of Geno Smith starting. We all thought they were tanking, and Geno Smith. So that was under Pete Carroll's watch. So I think the idea of him taking a vet, not wanting to do what you mentioned, Ryan, I think that's a really interesting take. If Kyler Murray's the guy, that's an interesting part of the question. But I think what you're talking about makes sense. There's some validity there, I think.
Or maybe Cincinnati's coming up from number 9 to get their new quarterback, and Burrow's going to Vegas. So many things could happen. So many things. I don't know. I think the Jets are going to have to trade up if they want Mendoza. They're going to have to go up to number 1. And
we're going to get the number 1 pick. Saints are beating us. Giants are beating them. The Raiders are beating the Saints. It's going to be fucking great. It's going to be beautiful.
I think that's how it plays out. I think the Jets wind up trading up to number 1 for Mendoza. I do think that's
from where? Where are we going to be, you think?
I think we'll probably be at like pick 4. I think it'll be Giants, Titans. It'll probably be Titans, Vegas, Giants. Is that how it would work? No, Vegas would have to fall down. I think the Giants, Titans, and Cleveland could all be picking in front of the Jets. I thought Washington would have been a game that the Giants could win. Now they've just got Vegas. So we really want, we're hoping Vegas wins. Obviously, if the Giants win, then this whole dream kind of falls apart. But I think we're picking 4 when it's all said and done. JJ comes in, says, this isn't a knock on Glenn, but this is why I really hate rookie head coaches. So just trying to figure it all out. I think that's the hiring process, just trying to learn on the job. There's going to be some growing pains, just like with young rookie quarterbacks and young, rookie players in general. So I agree. I think everyone's a little, I don't want to say tired about going the rookie route with head coach, but this is something we just sort of expect. Blitz Crew comes in and says, I am so sick of our coaches forcing players into their scheme rather than scheming around the talent of our personnel. Milk thumbs.
Milk thumbs.
Thanks so much, Blitz Crew. I agree / disagree. And I would say year 1, you should try to play more to your players' strengths, because it's hard to flip a defense year over, like in 1 year. We saw that with 𝐒𝐵𝐷 and Salah. The first year they were kind of clunky. Then the second year they sort of hit the ground running. So I think there is some value in trying to get the guys to learn a system. But when guys are clearly playing out of position, or like something's clearly not working, like you don't have any interceptions on the season, like that's a problem. that has got to be at some point a coaching problem. It can't just be a player problem there. So yeah, I agree with you, Blitz Crew. Matt, your thoughts on forcing players into a scheme or making a scheme fit around the players?
Yeah, I think when you try to force players into your own scheme, it's just the level of stubbornness, right? Like there's a lot of gray area in this. Obviously, if you have a scheme that works and these guys are talented players and you can make it work with them in your scheme, then yes, obviously that makes sense. What doesn't is when you clearly don't have the roster to run what you want to do and you say, fuck it, I'm doing it anyway, and then it blows up in your face. That is the definition of stupidity, which unfortunately I think is kind of the issue with Wilks. And I get it. Like the roster needs work, especially on defense, right? They're playing a bunch of practice squad level players on the defense. However, that doesn't give Steve Wilks a pass for his scheme being atrocious.
Completely agree. JJ comes in, says, I want Gunnar effing Stockton, quarterback out of Georgia. Will be declaring next year, I believe. Next year is going to be friggin' loaded with talent. We heard Mayava from USC is going back. You've got potentially, I guess Moore or Simpson. We haven't heard declaring or not declaring either way yet. You've got Arch Manning. There's Lenore Sellers is coming out next year. God, who else? Julian Sayin. just a whole bunch of players that are going to be coming out. So I don't want to like hype up next year's class too much, but because I feel like last year we were like, oh, next year's quarterback class is going to be really good. And now we're kind of not looking as comfortable as we were at one point. So we'll see how that plays out. JJ also says, you pancake eating so-and-so. I have no idea what this super chat was in reference to, and I should probably get better at throwing up super chats that might be more context driven during certain points of our conversation. I would say I'm a waffle guy more than a pancake guy. Matt, you a waffle guy or pancake guy?
I like both, but I think I would lean pancake if I had the choice between the two. I think this is a draft day reference.
It might be.
I Googled it. I didn't know it off the top. I've only seen, I don't know, this might be a hot take for football fans. I know a lot of people like that movie. Movie sucks. All right. I saw it once.
What movie?
It stinks.
Draft Day.
Draft Day with Kevin Costner. It's
I
so,
watched it. I never watched it.
Yeah,
don't
no, I never
bother.
saw it either.
It's the stupidest fucking movie that gets way overhyped by the NFL and draft community. It sucks.
Bean, do you like pancakes? You like waffles?
Here's the thing. Whatever I say, people are going to think I hate the other one. You know what I mean? That's how we are these days. He said, like, I don't want to get there. I love waffles, but there is literally not even a conversation. If they're like, hey, would you like pancakes or waffles? I need to cut the stack, the triangle. I want like 5 to 12 pancakes. And I like to cut a big stack, I like the stack, the softness, the buttermilk of IHOP, putting buttermilk in the pancake mix. You know what I mean? Or whatever they do. What do? They pour eggs in the scrambled eggs in the pancake mix. Did you guys know that?
I didn't know that.
Or
Interesting.
they put pancake mix in the eggs. What do? They do some weird shit. Either way, I'm pancakes. Team pancakes over here.
Hell
yeah, I don't dislike pancakes at all. I really like a good Belgian waffle, like something that really holds the syrup nicely. But I could be swayed.
Yeah, they're great. They're great. And like Sean McAteer. What about French toast? I love French
toast is good.
French toast is solid.
I feel like I don't have that often, but when I do, it's like, oh, French toast is good.
I
have French toast when I go to France,
They just call it toast over there. But
they're just like, hey, you want some toast?
I guess question. I didn't realize this till I got like probably into middle school, because growing up having French toast and my mom making it, like we always like rather than syrup, we just had like cinnamon and sugar on our French toast. I thought it was delicious.
Huh.
Great.
Yeah.
Syrup guy with your French toast, or I don't know if maybe I'm just weird and
syrup.
Okay.
Yeah, but I get it. Like you could. I mean, look, little sugar. I mean, that's essentially syrup is liquid sugar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just
really
like a granulated sugar.
Yeah, but I could do that. But and then there's the powdered sugar realm. But I am syrup all day. You know what? You know what the best syrup is? If you end up at IHOP, they give you like on the table. I haven't been to IHOP in probably I can't even tell you 5+ years,
15 years
least,
for me.
maybe 10. But they have on the table the syrups. They got blueberry and strawberry and all that shit. The butter pecan syrup at IHOP is in a class all by itself. It changes everything. If you haven't had it, please go to IHOP and just, even if you just pour it on a corner and try it, you're gonna go, holy shit, where has this been all my life? It's that good.
We're gonna have to make an IHOP run. Jeez. Jake comes in and says, I've been over him since Romo called every defensive play. Nothing was disguised. Happy birthday. Sunday was my 40th. I had to avoid the stream. Too much sadness. Jake, happy birthday to you as well.
Happy birthday.
You are over the hill and on the fast track to hating life as a Jet fan even more. It's okay. JJ.
Happy birthday, buddy.
JJ says, happy birthday, you old bastard. Talking to Jake and Green Bean. Love it. Good man.
There you go. Well,
Andrew says, hey, brothers, what is it with all the new coach teams winning their division and making it to the playoffs? Is it the quarterback or the Jets' curse? So we're talking what? The Jaguars are leading their division. They've got, what's his face? Duval.
Trevor Lawrence?
No, not
And
Trevor
Liam
Lawrence. That other guy. The
Cohen.
That's the name. You got the Patriots led by Vrabel.
Mhm.
Who are we looking at?
Yeah,
I guess the
the
Steelers
Bears.
are still in first for
Bears.
the
No, the Bears. Yeah, that's what he's talking about. Ben Johnson going to the Bears.
Ben Johnson. I was going through each of the
there's
divisions, just like trying to see if there was anything.
I see.
Was there an AFC West team that's leading? I mean, I guess it's the Broncos. They're not necessarily a newly coached team, but relatively so. But Ben Johnson's having success in Chicago.
Yeah, look at all those teams. What do they have? They have an offensive coach paired with a a quarterback that was already there.
Mhm.
That's it. So then, like in their first draft, what do? They get a couple little toys for the quarterback. You know, in Chicago, they got Loveland and some offensive linemen, I believe.
Mhm.
So, you know, they already had DJ Moore and what's his name?
Odunze.
𝐒𝐭𝐭. You know what I mean?
Dunze.
Yeah, dude, think about it, man. Ben Johnson. People are like, what? The Jets didn't hire Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson looked over at the Jets and went, are you fucking kidding me? And then he looked at the Bears and went, okay, they got Caleb, they got Odunze, they got DJ Moore, they got 𝐒𝐭𝐭. You know what I mean? Like, just going to go there.
I'm going to draft
That's
another
the
tight
difference.
end in the first round, then we're just going to be good on offense.
Yeah, we're just going to
Gonna
do this thing.
Cooking.
Yeah,
The
Trevor
offensive-minded head
Lawrence,
coach that makes the
offensive-minded head coach.
quarterback.
Yeah, paired with a quarterback. Like they don't even have, like, think about what Aaron Glenn had to do. Aaron Glenn had to come here and get rid of Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. And like, it's the complete opposite. And they're like, you can't just compare it. And I know the Jets always have these like built-in reasons. And it's true. Here's the problem with the Jets. It's not that, you know, Aaron Glenn's, you know, didn't do what Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen, all those guys did. That's not the issue. The issue is that every fucking time we have all these problems here to fix for the new people coming in. That's the problem. By the end of any regime, it's a complete cluster. You know, it's a shit show. So look at what he had to do. He had to come in here. Think about that decision. You have to figure out Aaron Rodgers. You have to go the opposite way. And then you take a swing on Fields and you got a quarterback coach who's a running back and you know, and that whole thing. And Justin Fields not only still sucks, he has the worst suck of his entire suck, you know? So it's tough, man. It's tough. It's a tough being a Jets fan, but that's the difference. Aaron Glenn, you take a defensive guy and you go, hey, your first decision is Aaron Rodgers. And then you go, oh, you have Trevor Lawrence. You have Drake May. Oh, you have Caleb. What's his last name? Williams? Is that what it is?
Yep.
Yeah, Williams. I always want to call him Johnson, Caleb Johnson. Is there a Caleb Johnson?
Oh, you got Ben Williams and Caleb Johnson. You just flip
I
flop
think
the
that
head
might
coach
be
and
what it
quarterback names. It's fine.
Caleb, well, yeah, Ben Williams and Caleb Johnson. I like it.
Jake.
But yeah, you know, it's different, you know.
Jake comes in, says, Giants look good every game with Dart, but managed to lose at the end. I can't believe they're going to get the top pick. They're better than us now. I don't think they're going to get the top pick. I do think I shouldn't say that because I guess they're getting down to the wire here. The remaining schedule as it stands right now, Giants play the Raiders, the Vikings, and the Cowboys. I think the Giants could win any of those games. The Cowboys being knocked out, I could see them just kind of throw their hands up. So I don't know what that game's going to ultimately be. They have the third easiest schedule remaining. And I think they could catch a win. And if they win a game, they all of a sudden fall from the first pick down to at least the fifth pick, I would think, would drop behind us.
Who are the Giants beating in your world?
What was that?
Who are the Giants beating?
I think they could beat the Raiders. You know, obviously we hope the Raiders win that one because the Raiders are the team going for the quarterback.
Yeah.
Minnesota has been playing better the last week or two, but like I'm not totally scared about them. Like I feel like McCarthy could go off the rails at any moment. And then Dallas is just sort of a weird coin flip. Division games are funky. And I don't know if they're going to have a whole lot of zest at the end of the season. I think that's their last game of the year, if I'm not mistaken.
Quinnen had an interception.
You can't make that shit up, huh?
I'm telling you. Well, you know, I have a Dallas fan friend here, and he said to me, hey, honestly, what do you think of this guy? I said, you're going to love him. Like, honestly, man. I said, you're going to love him. He was done here. He was tired. He's a great guy, and he's going to be really good. And then the other day, he just said, He just texted me the other day. He goes, "Wow." I was like, "Yep." Go
He's
fuck
been
yourself,
unreal.
man.
We definitely miss Quinnen right now. As much as
no
like
doubt.
I'm happy we got the picks. I think we were at a stage in his career and our development
Yeah.
that it
Yeah.
made sense. But man, that's it, we definitely noticed the missing Quinnen there. Matt, what
Take
are your
the kid
thoughts
from
on
Ohio State?
Yeah, right. That top of the second round or something like that, it looks like. I'd be pumped on that. Matt, what are your thoughts on the Giants? Where do you think they ultimately pick?
Right around where the Jets are. I think they win one more and are sitting at 3-14. I also think the Jets are going to sit at 3-14. So like third, fourth, fifth, somewhere around in that range. I don't know if the Giants are in a better spot. I don't think either team's in a great spot. They look like they have their quarterback figured out, which is clearly most important, but
Yeah, who's their coach?
they have their offensive line isn't as good. They have a number one wide receiver and not much else, similar to the Jets. Their defense has a lot of names and a lot of high draft picks, but are horrendous. Their secondary is absolutely horrible. So like I don't mean it like as the Jets are so great and the Giants are just they're both, I would say, equally bad. It's not like one's in such this different stratosphere than the other. I think they're in a similar boat.
They could be almost mirror images of one another to some degree. Like if the Jets wind up with the number one pick, we're going to have our quarterback and then we're going to have a bunch of draft picks to surround him with talent. If the Giants have the number one pick, then we're going to give them a bunch of picks so we could go get our quarterback and they're going to have the picks to surround their quarterback with a bunch of talent. So like it's this weird like dichotomy that's going on. I think the Giants are in a halfway decent spot. So we'll see how that plays out for them. Dante says, Green Bean, when did linebackers start becoming so small? Every linebacker coming out of college are no taller than 6'2". I want some 6'5" minimum monsters. The change really happened over the course of the last, would you say 20 years, 15 years? Like when we started seeing a lot more passing, like really got away from the running game.
Yeah, it was like, like I look at it, I know it's a little bit before this, it is, but I look at it as Lamar Jackson. Like when Lamar Jackson when they shifted over the Ravens from Flacco to Lamar Jackson, that was like right in the swing of like the passing league, like the offenses, teams had to start putting dime packages out there and everything. And then the premium on linebackers became less, and the position kind of got pushed off. And, then you saw like what Saleh was doing, these hybrid linebackers. Bowles was doing that over in when he was the defensive coordinator in Arizona. I mean, I don't recall linebackers being 6'6", though, brother, 6'5". That's not really the issue. I don't give a shit if they're 5'6", man. If they fucking just knock the shit out of people, I don't care so much the height, but 6 foot is pretty good. It's the weight for me, what they're able to do. Like there was a great
mass
play. Now,
times acceleration, my friends.
Yeah,
what's
there you
that?
go.
Said
What'd you
mass
say?
times acceleration.
Yeah, exactly. But there was an interesting play. We talk about it every game stream. I'm bitching and moaning about our players ducking blocks and all. Like when you watch Bart Scott or Marvin Jones, like when they filled a hole, if there was like a pulling guard and the hole is identified and the guard's coming through or a fullback, Bart Scott would fucking run like a freight train and level that guard. He would just boom. And you see the Jets players. There was a great play this week. It's not a linebacker. It was Tony Adams. He came blitzing in on like a run blitz. He had a straight line to the running back. There's a blocker there, and there was a player behind him. What he did was he sidestepped the block. He like sidestepped it. So was still taken out of the play. Instead, what he could have done is just level the fucking, I believe it was a tight end. He could have leveled him and pushed him right into the hole. You know what I mean? He would have just clogged the whole thing. Maybe even the tight end could have knocked the running back on his ass. But instead, he sidesteps it. And that's what you see with all these little guys running around. They don't know how to take on the blocks. And that's what you're missing on defense. Like somebody has to take the blocker. Somebody has to do it, man. It's why we see all these fucking guards and fullbacks and tight ends in the secondary. They're still running free because nobody took on the block, because they're too slight to do it. They can't do that all game. You know, a 215-pound linebacker cannot be running up against 300-pound guards all day. They just can't do it. So I feel like the NFL is shifting more toward, you're seeing running backs valued a little bit more. I don't know if it'll go all the way back, but it is starting to level out and kind of shift that way. And I would really like to see us be a part of that. 240-pound linebackers. They could be 6'5" if you want, Dante, but I'll take 6'1" all day if they're 240 pounds of fucking solid muscle.
So we were talking about this 2 weeks ago now. Jamie Sherwood, 216 pounds. There is not one linebacker in this draft class per Tankathon right now that is lower than 220 pounds. Most of the top linebackers are all 235 is the lowest I'm seeing, like 243 for Reese, 235, 235, 235, 239, 240, 235, 243, like all big body dudes. And they're all between, I guess the top guys, Styles and Reese, are 6'4". Yeah, I want someone to lay the lumber. Actually come in and knock some teeth out.
Mo Lewis was 6'3", 258 pounds, brother.
Different era.
Punisher.
Right?
Totally
different.
Totally different thing. Yep. Let me see what Marvin Jones weighed. Now I'm all into this linebacker.
He's got to be 240.
I hope it is like the year of us getting some linebackers. Like, I've been craving it, you know what I mean, for a long time. It just, we had work to do. We were wide receivers and quarterbacks. I hope it's the year we do that.
I think we double dip. I think it's going to be one linebacker free agency, one linebacker in the draft.
Oh, I'd love it. Yeah, he was 244, Matt. His playing weight was 244.
Makes sense.
That's awesome. Wyatt comes in. What's up, Wyatt? Says a quarterback. Hey. Then defense. Our offense is serviceable, but our defense is pedestrian at best. We cannot afford a luxury receiver. So I will disagree to some degree. Yep. I mean, I do want quarterback first and foremost. I think this draft, more than anything else, if you can come away with a quarterback and a wide receiver within your top 4 picks, you've done the right thing. I agree everything else should be defense after that. I think it's just a matter of if you're moving picks to try and get the quarterback and how that's sort of impacted. You have $100 million in free agency. I think you could fulfill some of your defensive needs that way. A lot of the positions we need, linebacker, defensive tackle, safety, interior offensive line, a lot of these positions aren't going to be crazy expensive. Like, you can hit like the second and third tier guys and get good return on your investment while also trying to build up that pipeline through the draft. But I would say don't discount the wide receiver. I do think we still need a wide receiver too. Matt, your thoughts on Wyatt's comment right here? Cannot afford a luxury receiver.
I don't view wide receiver as a luxury. Their wide receiver room outside of Garrett Wilson, even with the John Mechie and A.D. Mitchell additions, is not good enough. And there are clearly issues with the defense. I'm not saying you go all offense just because if you take a rookie quarterback and just go all offense. That's not what I'm advocating for. But I do think they still desperately need a number 2 receiver. And I don't think in today's NFL you could really operate without having a good secondary pass catcher, which they don't really have right now. Like, they don't use Brees in that way as we would hope. Mason Taylor, I think, has had a nice rookie season, but he is not like that 1,000-yard tight end. You need another good receiver to pair with Garrett Wilson. So I'll give it a little bit of pushback, but they do need a bunch of help on defense.
Beamer, any thoughts on the luxury of wide receiver?
Wyatt's getting crazy. I don't know what you're doing, Wyatt.
He wants to become a quarterback, and all of a sudden he's going to raise all the level of the wide receivers. Screw it. We need the defense.
Yeah. Well, think about this. All right, we go into the season next year. We don't get a wide receiver. We look at it as a luxury. We're good. We got Garrett Wilson, A.D. Mitchell, John Mechie, Arian Smith, and Isaiah Williams. And Garrett Wilson gets hurt. Then what?
Woof.
You know, now you're looking at like, middling. There's some talent there, no doubt. There's some talent, but you're not scaring anybody in the playoffs. It's not happening. So you need that. Look, offense, it is time for the Jets to cut the shit and get a real live NFL offense on that field. That includes the offensive line, the running back room, the tight ends, the wide receivers. And you're going to be surprised when I say this, but I even think we should get a quarterback. I think it's time. I think I'm ready.
Hot take.
Right? A hot take. I think we're ready to finally get a quarterback. But yeah, I don't look at it as luxury. I'll tell you what, especially when we have all these picks. Especially when we have all these picks.
JJ says Wink Martindale may be looking for work. Yeah, we're gonna have a few options at DC. I do like the Jim Leonard connection.
Me too.
I think that would be a fun addition. He was always a really cerebral player too, so I think that would be fun. We got a bunch of super chats, guys, so just hang in there. I'm jumping down to Marvin because he threw a 10 spot in there. It says, can you talk a bit about OC in terms of his schematics? I'll be honest, because we've had Justin Fields for so long at the helm, it's hard to grade the first half of the season. But I would say from what I've seen, there's a lot of guys running open consistently. And I think that is a testament to the players that were brought in and the schematics of the offensive coordinator in general. Like there's still some head scratching things, like some weird choices of like trick plays or something like that where we start going backwards. I like that we're utilizing Brees in the passing game, or we were. I think getting him involved early is important. I've said before, I like 𝐒𝐿_hn𝐬. I think there's enough there for me to want to give him a swing at grooming a quarterback and taking care of an offense. So I've liked what we've seen so far. I just don't know if we have the quarterback to facilitate how we'd like to run the offense. I don't think we have the wide receiver 2 to take the pressure off Garrett to run the offense we kind of want to as well. But I think we have less work to do on the offense. Like I think it's less players. Like you get the quarterback, you get wide receiver 2. Now you're feeling pretty good with rounding out the rest of the team. The defense, I think, is a much wider array of need in players. Matt, your thoughts of 𝐒𝐿_hn𝐬 so far?
Yeah, hard to evaluate what his scheme is because of all the different quarterbacks that have played, right? Like offense looked different with Cook, looked different with Tyrod, and obviously Justin Fields. But I think he, in a perfect world, would want to run something similar to what they do in Detroit. And Jared Goff, he has some limitations, right? He's not a crazy mobile quarterback, but he just runs that offense. They're always in time, in rhythm. And I think that's kind of what he's looking to do here. And I just think they need to find a quarterback that can facilitate the football, right? Like even if we're talking middle of the pack to 12th best quarterback, it'd be great if you get better than that, obviously. But I agree with you with the scheme. It looks like guys are getting open, and I think the offensive line has played well, and I like his play design and opening scripts. I think have worked well for the most part. It's really hard when you don't have your number one receiver and just a rotation of quarterbacks to fully give a full, breakdown of what's kind of scheme he's running, because it's had to change so many times.
Bean, your thoughts on 𝐒𝐿_hn𝐬?
Well, what we were supposed to get was a high flying RPO, type of offense. Sad to say. And I believed that, the whole thing with Justin Fields, again, while we all knew, pretty much most of us, looked at it as a long shot. The whole thing was like, okay, if you're going to do this kind of offense, Justin Fields is perfect for it. And I thought game one, it looked like that. Like it looked like we were going to do a lot of that. We were setting things up. We were even calling it in the stands. We're like, we just kind of, we felt like we were getting to see the beginnings of of what could be a high flying, a lot of movement offense. And it just settled in. And I think they got a little nervous with their confidence with Fields. I think Fields' confidence got shaken with all those, the early concussion and all the shit that was going on there, the knee and all that. So, and then going from there to Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor can move, but he's old, he's older. And like once you know, like, all right, Justin Fields is hurt, banged up, or you don't really want him out there anymore, and you put Tyrod Taylor in, what are you going to do? You're going to sacrifice him and all that. He likes to get hurt every couple of games. So he's older, likes to get hurt. So you're limited. Now you got an undrafted free agent in there who, to be honest, isn't really supposed to be in there this early. He's an undrafted free agent quarterback. You know, year one, you're not supposed to see those guys. So I believe, you know, this is just how, you know, how I see it. I think even though we would say, hey, throw caution to the wind, you know, we got nothing to lose. They're letting them throw, but you can't just throw him out there and ask him to do 100 million things. What about his career? Like, you know, their idea on developing him. And then you see, look, he's thrown 5 picks, right? 5 picks in 2 games, less than 2 games, really a game and 2/3. So, you know, I think it's really tough to evaluate him. And again, I've told you guys a million times, I'm no offensive, you know, schematics genius or anything like that. But you know what you're supposed to be getting, and you can tell. I mean, any fan with, you know, at least a base level of knowledge can tell we're playing scared a lot of the time, and it's like limited in what we can do. And then you got the inaccuracy issues, and then when the quarterback's accurate, all of a sudden everybody's dropping passes. So there are lots of issues that we've dealt with this year that make it difficult. I think I'm with you, Ryan. I like them for now. I think even with all those issues, you can tell it's not Hackett. You know what I mean?
Lou comes in and says, Jets website released next year's opponents. It looks much harder than this past year, especially with the Pats getting stronger. Yeah, next year's schedule is not easy. Let me get it in front of us. I want to say it's the NFC North and the AFC West. Jets 2026 schedule.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's the AFC West, NFC North, and then it's going to be the 4th place team for the AFC North, which is going to be the Browns, the AFC South, which is going to be the Titans, and then the NFC West, which is going to be the Cardinals. So that's how the Jets schedule is ultimately going to shake out. I think we're in a position where I don't want to trade away any of the 2027 picks because I think all 3 of them could be very high. Like the Jets pick may be a top 10 pick next year, regardless of whether you get the quarterback or not this year. I think the Colts pick could end up being number 1 overall. I think that's entirely possible. And then I think the who knows what happens with the Cowboys, less George Pickens. You know, we get the higher of the 2 picks between Dallas and Green Bay. So we only need one of those quarterbacks to get hurt or something to go sideways for them to for that to be a high pick. So yeah, I'm not going to be claiming playoffs for next year by any means. I think the schedule is very hard. I think we may end up having the hardest schedule next year.
In the world.
I have to look at that.
How does that happen for a 4th place team?
Well, that's what happened to the Giants. Like we literally play the Giants schedule next year. Like I think I'm pretty sure that's like the flip flop that just happens.
Yeah, you're right.
So yeah, I don't know. It's a kick in the pants, but when you have a rookie quarterback, like he's going to be learning and getting his lumps anyway. Like I kind of don't mind it for next year. I just don't know what the threshold has to be for Glenn not to be like wildly on the hot seat. Bean, any thoughts on the opponents for next year? AFC North, AFC West, NFC North.
No, I'm trying to figure out if the Jets are going to keep this fucking stupid quarterback coach when we draft a quarterback. That's where I am. I don't know, man. Like, remember the year in 2023 we started with the AFC North, or the AFC North, and we were freaking out and all that shit. We ended up being 3-1.
Yeah, the only one we lost to was Detroit late in the year because was it White getting folded
No, it was
half?
the AFC North. I
think it was the same year though.
It was 2 and 2, maybe. 2 and 2.
Yeah, we
lost
beat the
first 2
Bengals,
games.
we beat the Browns.
And then Quinnen Williams freaked out on White Cotton on the sideline in the Bengals game, and everything changed.
Yep.
Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah, they beat the Steelers and the Browns.
And the Bengals. The Bengals was the Mike White game.
No,
that's right.
That was the year before.
Oh, was it the year before?
They got their teeth kicked in against the Bengals.
That's why Quinnen went off. That would make some
That
sense.
was the one. Remember, that was JFM got called for that lame ass roughing the passer, and that changed the whole game. It was like a game before that.
That's right. Ugh.
Yeah. Details. Oh, the details we remember. I can't remember lots of shit, but I remember JFM getting called for that ticky-tack fucking pass interference or roughing the passer. Somehow I remember that. Which, by the way, at some point we should talk about that damn penalty from in this game. That nullified the
the kick
amazing punt return. That was a particularly good dude. That was good. That was impressive what he did to get to the end zone on that one, and they took it away.
I hate that shit.
The back-to-back play, even if we want to be fair, the Trevor Lawrence intentional grounding was a bullshit penalty right before that. It was back-to-back plays where you're going, really? They're that was it? They're calling that?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, I still can't believe that the NFL is like a just multi-billion-dollar operation. And they have these men and some women running around in these fucking zebra suits that control the game, and they're part-time employees. Like,
well, there's gonna be a lockout this offseason, right? Like their CBA's up with the refs.
Good. Lock them all out and say, okay, just when they lock out, just let them stay out there, hire a whole bunch of new ones and make them full-time. That's what you should do. But just the fact that they're not fucking full-time, like they should be doing this all year. Like when the season's over, they should be in ref practice, like all year. They should live, eat, sleep, and breathe refereeing. Do you disagree? I mean, why they're so important to the game?
I wish college had like closer rules to the NFL, or even just the exact same rules, to be honest. And then you could just have your coaches go from like a Friday college game to a Saturday college game to a Sunday NFL game to a Monday NFL game, and you just have enough consistent work. Like there's enough colleges around the country to be able to dedicate your staff to a 3-week, 4-day work week or whatever it is. I'd like to see that. Blitzkrieg comes in. Says, anyone else think the Raiders drafting Moore over Mendoza is a very Raider thing to do? Maybe I am just being a delusional / Jets fan. I would say you're being delusional. I will say it is very hard for me to envision Mendoza in Sin City. Like that post-game presser after the Big Ten title game was like one of the most awkward, cringy, like just sort of genuine, like enthusiasm. Like, I don't know. It was just a very goofy thing to sort of see. And I don't know. I think I would play in New York, like as much as it's like goofy and weird and like, I don't know, man. I think it would. I think he's the right level of like passionate that I don't think the media would necessarily get on him about it. Like I feel like if you brought in like who's the guy from the Heisman voting that everyone's Diego.
He's a tool.
Yeah, well, exactly. Like if you brought in that type of personality, not even the player, but like that type of personality, I think that type of personality does not play in New York, where I think the sort of goofiness of Mendoza would play in New York.
I don't know. Where do you have precedent of such things? I disagree.
Eli's a goofy motherfucker. He played perfectly well. Chad was a goofy guy. Perfectly played well. Like, absolutely. Who? Chad, I would not say Chad was more of the like.
Chad was not goofy
opposite. I think Chad was closer to the Mendoza side of the spectrum than he is like I would say Rodgers, Pavia side of the spectrum.
Well,
like,
I'm not. Well, I don't know. Chad's either one. I don't think.
Nah, he's probably in the middle.
You have
but
to make that comparison. Look, if Mendoza came in and he's winning, it'll go over. If we have a season like this, or anything like this, 5 wins, 4 wins, this town will fucking shred that type of shit. Dude, there is no sympathy here. Like I'm actually, I like him and I'm not out in the slightest or anything like that. But I don't know, that personality, that's a concern. I mean, it is. It's like you think, not in Sin City. I mean, why here? We're the worst. Outside of Philly, there's no other area that's tougher to play in than here.
Well, I think we suck, but I don't see Mendoza as being like when I think Sin City, I think like kind of like a rough or rowdy type quarterback. Like Mendoza doesn't strike me as someone that's like, I can't wait to slam some beers and go out gambling. Like, no, he seems like he's gonna go like crochet or something. I don't fucking know. Like,
Yes.
He likes.
Matt, what do you think on this?
I think he only cares about two things in his life: Jesus and football. Like that's all I've ever heard him talk about is those two things, which is fine. Like I think he's just very different personality than like someone like Zach, who was the last guy that we drafted. I think it'd be fine in New York. I think he's closer to an Eli or Chad Pennington. I understood that comp, Ryan.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I wasn't trying to like demean Chad in any way. I think it was
No. I don't think Chad had any goober going on. Chad was like fiery and smart. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think you could say fiery and smart for Mendoza as well. I think
Fiery, sure.
like
I'm not saying he's not smart, but but I don't know. He comes across as like wholesome. That's the word I get from him. He's like this wholesome kind of.
But I would feel Chad is in
don't
that
know,
same.
man.
Maybe goofy was the wrong way to say it. Wholesome is
No,
probably
I
a
think
good
you're
way to
right.
say
He
it.
does. It came across that way. I actually agree with that. It's like a little, and
felt
not to throw stones at him, just to compare that. I think he's fine as a person. I don't have any issues, but it's just here, like what we do to people. We have no patience. We're mean. I mean, dude, people were calling Chad's mom. You know what I mean?
Zach's mom.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Thank you. Thank you.
But I
Very
see.
good.
I think that's sort of ish the personality. Like you got the 3-car garage guy from Zach. You got the guy that didn't bring a second suit in Geno Smith. Got punched in the face and broke his jaw. Geno Smith.
Yeah.
You had Sam. I think was honestly the best personality we've had in New York since Chad. To be able to withstand it, it's just the whole seeing ghosts thing and like the lack of talent on our team kind of broke him. Like I think when I look at Mendoza, I think he comes off as wholesome. He comes off as passionate. I feel like there is some degree of like, I feel like you get a slightly more leash than other players might be.
But
Like,
he's
once you start
also
rubbed the wrong way, then
he's
it's
also like not on socials or anything
yes.
like that too. Like I don't know if he'll hear the noise. Like he's just like, to me, comes across as like, I literally only care about these two things. He's not. I'm not going out at night. Like I'm going to the facility and I'm going home and doing, I don't know, whatever he does. Probably watching more film. Like, you know, and I think that might actually benefit him here.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. What do you think about Samini and him? Like Samini getting him to say the stupid shit and writing all these articles and turning the fans and all that stuff.
I think Samini's going to try it for sure, but I don't think that Mendoza, at least from the interviews I've seen and some of the like post-game things that he's said, it's like literally like out of a mold of what you want your quarterback to say. Like he loves his offensive line. He's like, the coaches, we work so hard for this. We're like glue, or whatever his phrasing was. Like it's just, I think he plays well. Like I'm comfortable with the Jets trading up to number 1 and getting him. I think he
cries. I think he cries before the end of the season. We just made Justin Fields cry.
I mean, he basically cried at the end of the Big Ten title game. It was like very emotional. Like
That's a different cry.
I think the Jets could probably make anyone cry.
That's good crying.
That's a good cry. I mean, we'll learn a lot through the college football playoffs. I'm excited to see Mateer and who's the Ty Simpson go against one another. Then the winner of that game gets to go against Mendoza. Like we get to see these guys over the next few weeks, so I think it's going to be fun to watch. But I like him so far.
Did you guys dislike the Pavia stuff? I just caught it like secondarily, but like what he was pissed about the Heisman voting.
He's going to be a day 3 guy. Like he's short. He's so tiny. I think they list him at like 6 foot, but like there's no way.
That's the most generous 6 foot I've ever seen in my life.
He's like a 5'8", 5'9"
kind of
guy
thing.
at best.
Now, what do you did you see that little thing? I saw something that said the Jets are in quotes obsessed with Pavia.
That's from an account that's just a troll account. It's not actually
It's a troll account.
Yeah, that's Richard Johnson, Dick. He puts a bunch of fake stuff out all the time.
Gotcha. Good.
Yeah. People will get you all
See, I
fired
don't
up
know.
on that. As far as Blitzkrieg's, I guess, comment here, could I see the Raiders drafting more over Mendoza? I mean, it's possible. Brady being over there, I feel like Brady would gravitate more towards Mendoza than Moore, just because of the pedigree currently and the amount of starts he has. It's hard for me to envision Moore going above Mendoza right now. Red John comes in and says, John Mateer of Oklahoma, Daniel Jones as a bridge. So I've really liked Mateer. He cooled off a lot the second half of the season. He was playing with an injury. If the Jets wanted to take a swing on a non-first round quarterback, I think that would be a really fun player to watch. And I don't think it would be such a crazy high investment that you couldn't go quarterback in 2027 if it didn't work out. So I would be cool with that. Daniel Jones just tore his Achilles. I want no part of Daniel Jones at all. Bean, any thoughts on Mateer or Jones as a bridge?
Well, I don't want to. Where are you getting Mateer? You know, like where?
Mateer's Oklahoma.
Round?
Oh,
no, I'm saying like what round?
I mean, definitely not before the second. I don't think he did not have a good back half of the year. I think he probably should go back to school and play one additional year. But I would say second round's probably the earliest he goes.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm looking at that's not like the word bridge and second round quarterback don't like they bump for me.
Well, I think it's one of those like if you're taking second round, you're not necessarily you don't necessarily have to call him a bridge. Like it could be an answer, but it's not a high enough investment to prevent you from going quarterback in 27, like the Cam Newton, Jimmy Clausen kind of situation.
And what was the other option?
Daniel Jones.
No, fuck Daniel Jones, man.
Is he even going to be ready for the start of the year?
I don't think he is. Like, I feel like it's going to be like not like at all. Like,
I'll take Phillip Rivers.
Ugh.
I love Phillip Rivers. That was hard to watch at times. He was shot putting the football around.
He was just falling.
Oh
yeah, tough.
He still looked good enough for me, man. I mean, it's like not for me, you know what I mean? Like to be on the couch and then like 5 days later be on an NFL field.
Yeah, nuts.
I was like, oh Jesus. I'm just glad they lost.
I want to jump down to Dante. Dante says, is Ryan Hyde, Chad goofy? Goofy's probably the wrong word. I would say wholesome. I think Bean hit it on the head. I think wholesome is the correct term to use for Chad, to use for, I would even say Sam, and then I think Mendoza. I think they all fall closer to that side of the spectrum than the Zach, Gino, other end of like the overly, like I don't want to say can't take a joke or like overly serious. Like I think Chad is closer towards the like other end of that spectrum. So is what it is. James says AG's choice is to keep hands off, allow the OC and DC to be fixed. Taking over means creating unproven figureheads a la Loggins Ulbrich.
Like Dow Loggins. Let me see. AG's choice.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think. I think he just means he likes AG being the head coach and staying as the head coach and doing those responsibilities and letting the DC do the DC thing.
Yeah, that's how I read it.
That's how you read it too, Matt?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, that's what I like. I said, like initially I felt like AG should step in and we get to see him like take control of things and see how it goes. But I think I like that better. Like, as I got to think about it and kind of process the whole thing, I think it's probably better that AG really does focus on being the coach, like we saw it, like Adam Gase was offense, Rex Ryan was defense, we just see it so much. I think it's good that Aaron Glenn becomes a head coach,
Love Retro drops a 10 spot. Thank you, dude. Says, look, I think we just stay put wherever the draft takes us. Keep the picks. We took Chad at pick 18, Rodgers at pick 24. Keep the stock. So I get this thinking, and I'm okay with it because of the picks we have for 27 and the seemingly the amount of quarterbacks that are coming out. I just don't know if the Jets will do that. Like, does Glenn get another year of this? or is he gone and not able to take advantage of those 3 first-round picks next year? Does Woody want to go through another year of like, I mean, he's basically had Rodgers was a flop last year, had the Achilles the year before that. We've had years and years of Zach underperforming. And then with Fields this year, like, I feel like Woody's going to be chomping at the bit. I don't disagree with this approach, but I think they're going to want a quarterback. Matt, what are your thoughts on this? Keeping the picks and not trading up, and then I guess talk through maybe how you feel the Jets might be thinking.
Well, a lot of quarterbacks went in that 2000 draft in the first round, right?
None.
Huh?
That's the thing. Chad was the first quarterback taken, though, in that draft. So he wasn't.
We had
It's
4
different.
first that year, right? That was the Chad year
we
was
had
the 4 first.
But that's the thing, Matt, is like Chad was taken at 18, but that's not going to happen this year. We took the first. He was still the first quarterback taken. That's not happening. So that's like
He was the first. Okay.
If Mendoza made it to 18, or do
Or
we
even
take
5.
it? Like it's a different scenario. It was a different NFL, man.
Mhm.
Like, look at all the defense up top of that draft.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I was wrong. Chad was the only quarterback taken in the first round that year. I guess I was just thinking of all the quarterbacks who went before Tom Brady and was thinking that like all 4 or however many of those guys were first
Right.
rounders. I don't know why I was thinking that, but anyway, that was going to be my point though, is that the draft doesn't really work that way anymore unless there's multiple guys who are going in the first round. And this draft doesn't feel that way. It kind of feels like a one-class guy, unless Dante Moore does come out, which I think he should come out, but that still seems like it's a debate for him. We'll see. In 2027, that might be a different story because there might be 5 quarterbacks who are littered across the first round.
And then I'm pretty sure Rodgers was the second quarterback taken for his, because it would have been Alex Smith and then Rodgers, because they were like back and forth as like the first pick, and then obviously Rodgers fell to 24. We've got Eric dropping in with 20 spot. Thank you, dude. Says, sorry guys, late to the party tonight. Didn't know if you discussed Mel Kiper Jr.'s quarterback ratings, putting Moore over Mendoza. Us fans always get a good laugh from ESPN. Hey, I like this because I don't want the Jets to take Moore over Mendoza if given the chance. I would take Mendoza 10 times out of 10. So I am cool with preaching this and hoping that Mendoza falls to the Jets. Matt, your thoughts on Moore being over top of Mendoza?
I don't really put any stock into what Mel Kiper has to say. And, he's a legend, all due respect to him, but I think there are better evaluators at this point in his career that I would hold their opinions have more weight than Mel Kiper's.
Yeah. Mel Kiper created this whole thing that we all, dig into now. Like, he really did. But, just because you created it doesn't mean you're still relevant 80 years later. It's like, I think, and look, not for nothing, this is the kind of thing, it just reeks to me of trying to make waves and get clicks. You know what I mean? At this point, and it just reeks of that to me. It's like, shock. What? Oh my God. And start the conversation,
Yeah, it seems very clear that Mendoza should be QB1, especially after beating Ohio State. Like, for it to be any other way feels disingenuous. Dante comes in with a 20 spot. Thanks, Dante. Says, fans crap too much on Jets history. Older fans act like they were always trash. They weren't pre-Woody. Once the Parcells hires left, that's when it really went downhill. We're not the Saints. Their whole history is awful. I mean, their whole history outside of 20 years or whatever they had Drew Brees and Sean Payton for 15 years. I mean, they were electric that entire time. They could have won a Super Bowl any given year. The Jets have never had that stretch. We literally just had, outside of a few blip years in the 80s and the Super Bowl in 69, you've got Parcells in 97, 98 through the Rex Ryan years was our most successful stretch of time.
Yep.
And it was like every other year we were making the playoffs and we're competitive. And it was, once those players kind of came off and you didn't have some of the foundation that was built during that time, then the sheen kind of worn off. And then we've basically been dog shit since. So I think fans can crap on Jets history just fine. I mean, we've been bad. We're one of the historically like worst franchises in the NFL. So I guess I got to disagree with you a little bit there, Dante. Bean, what are your thoughts on this?
Let me say this. I'm not going to relook at it, so I could be off a little bit, but I believe in the last 43 years that I've been a Jets fan, the Jets made the playoffs 11 times. So I'm no mathematician, but that sounds like
Dookie.
32 years not making it. Is that right?
That sounds about right.
Right. So 32 times I put on my Jets shit and excitedly went to the stadium with a fucking grill and some sausages and shit and said, this is our year. And I ended up with 5 wins, 4 wins, 3 wins, 6 wins, 8 wins, whatever it might be. 32 of the years that I've been a fan, the Jets did not get into the playoffs, man. We suck. And let me tell you, Ryan just nailed it. That little stretch from 97, which was Parcells' first year, to the Rex Ryan 2010, that's 13 years of really competent football, whether it was Herm, even the 𝐒𝐽 year. We didn't make it to the playoffs. We were 9-7, but we were 5-1. We should have made it, but we didn't. You know, other than that, man, like the 80s and 90s, it was like 86, you know, 82, like 80. Like there's a handful of years in there that we were any good. That's why when we changed back to this uniform, like I do love the Jets logo. I love it. But the whole thing, it's like, I don't know, man, we have no winning with it, very little with this uniform, you know? And I know that means very little, but a lot of fans, they have this like warm association to it. I don't. I'm the white helmet guy because of that. Like, so anyway, yeah, I just think, Eric, that's nice and all. And I'm with you. I feel you and all that, but I'm with Ryan. I got to disagree with you. We're slapdick, brother.
Just like that podcast he's running over there. Talking about Green Bean.
Throwback.
Gotta throw it in there. Matt, your thoughts on, I guess, the Jets history? Any notes?
Yeah, well, this is going to be funny because they didn't win a Super Bowl, but I felt spoiled because in the first 15 years of my life, they made 3 AFC championship games and were like in the playoffs every other year. They were like a pretty normal team.
Yeah.
But I think when you factor in the 70s, from most of the 2010s, the 2020s, it's a hell of a lot more bad than it is good. So there's some pockets of good, but they're usually very small windows we're looking at.
VT Jet fan. What's up, dude? Says, Green Bean, can you talk to Q-Tip about making a song about Woody selling the team? Jets fans would stream the hell out of it.
Yeah, Q-Tip jumped on the show yesterday, I think it was, for my birthday. It was great. He was.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, good stuff.
He was dropping bombs. Yeah, he was fun. But yeah, I don't know if he's gonna waste his time. He already wastes enough time on this fucking team like us. You know, he watches every game and does. I don't know if he's making any music to go with it, but yeah, I'll ask him. Why not?
Love it.
BT. Yeah.
Jack says, in-person Talkin' Jets draft party. Let's rock. So if you guys are looking at the live chat, there's a poll question in there. Would you attend an in-person Talkin' Jets draft party? We did one 2 years ago. Last year, the logistics of everyone's schedule didn't quite work out. We are going to be doing one this year. We're just trying to finalize exactly where it's going to ultimately be. So stay tuned. Hopefully in the next week or so, we'll be able to officially announce. But vote in the live chat if you'd like to come out and hang out with us for the first round of the NFL draft, because it's going to be fun. If you attended our first one 2 years ago was in Long Island at the main event. This year, we're going to be sticking, did I say in? On Long Island at the main event. In Long Island, on Long Island. It's on Long Island at the main event is where it was 2 years ago. This year, we're going to be in Hoboken. We're just trying to narrow it down exactly where we're going to end up. So hit that vote button if you want to join us and give us some enthusiasm. Dante says, if we miss out on quarterback because the Raiders Would you get Sonny or Carnell? Talking about the linebacker or the wide receiver, I would try to get both. I would go Tate at our first pick, and I would go Sonny Styles at our second pick. I would be totally fine with that. No issues. And then I would still try to look quarterback in the second round and just sort of feel it out from there. Matt, would you take Sonny Styles or Carnell Tate if we miss out on the quarterback?
Depends on what they do with their first pick, right? Because I think, well, maybe not.
Tate might be the first wide receiver.
I was gonna say you might go. Maybe it's both. Maybe it's Tate with the first pick and Sonny Styles with the second pick. Then,
and would you do that?
If you're not going quarterback, I don't think that's a bad plan.
Dean, what about you? Yeah,
I love it, man. See, again, if we're not going quarterback, coming out of that first round with Carnell Tate and Sonny Styles, dude, I'd be all kinds of huggy with everybody at the draft party, man. I'd be making out with dudes. I'm telling you, that's my kind of draft.
I'd be pumped. Those are two really good players that I would be very excited about. Peter, what's up, dude? Says, hope our new defensive coordinator has a scheme that is progressive and plays to the player's strengths and not old and stale. Make it so our players can be matchup nightmares. I think some of that has to do with our players being matchup nightmares and having that sort of physicality. I think the entire center of our defense, outside of Briggs, could absolutely be overhauled. 2 linebackers, extra defensive tackle, 2 safeties. I think all that is entirely on the board. So I think all 3 of us agree with your statement, Peter. It's just a matter of who that guy is and getting the right players in here. But we got a three game sample size of Chris Harris and our existing players to see if maybe there's some compatibility moving forward. Josh comes in with a super chat, says, if our pick is number 1, or if our first pick, if our pick is 1, draft Mendoza, go best player available on defense at edge linebacker, maybe Downs if he's there. With the Colts first, reunite. Oh, okay. Hold on. I'm reading this wrong. Okay. Mendoza is his first option. If it's not Mendoza, go BPA on defense, whether that be edge linebacker or Downs. With the Colts pick, reunite Mendoza with Surratt in the second round. Oh, no. He's actually saying Mendoza first, then defense at the Colts pick.
Got it.
And then reunite Surratt with Mendoza in the second round. No, I don't hate it either. I think a wide receiver at any one of our top 4 picks is a must. Obviously I think Mendoza at the top would be ideal. But yeah, I'm on board. Linebacker, safety, edge rusher. I think you're going to need it. So I'm in agreement here. Matt, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think if those are the Jets' first 3 picks, I'd be pretty happy with the start of that draft. I don't know about you guys, but I'd be. What was Green Bean saying? Kissing dudes, hugging dudes at the draft party. Dudes. Yeah, I'm in on that.
I love it. Bean, your thoughts?
I love it, dude. I mean, that's exactly what you want. If we were to get Mendoza, and then just like you said, the best player, maybe Downs is still there. That'd be fucking fantastic. A linebacker. And then you get the wide receiver in the top of the second. I think that's gorgeous.
I like it. Sam says, if you can't draft quarterback in the first round, which quarterback are you comfortable picking? I like Mensa because of the amount of starts he has. I think the personality that he has from the interviews I've watched is really captivating. He did not come from money at all. He took the NIL deal at Duke, which is $4 million, to basically change his entire family's life. So I could see a situation where he decides to come out and try to go in either the late first, early second, and kind of jettison his pro career. But I could also see a scenario where he decides to go back to school, collect the NIL money again, try to increase his draft stock, whether it be at Duke or potentially at another step up in team. You know, maybe it's an SEC team or something like that. So Mensa, I would say I'm comfortable with. I like a lot of the middle round guys if you want to take a swing at one. If Mateer is there, I don't mind that swing. But it would be, for me, someone that you wouldn't have to overly invest in and you could move off of in 2027 if needed. Maybe that's a bad way to say that. I wish we had a third round pick, because if it wasn't in the first round, third round is kind of the sweet spot for where I'd like to take a quarterback. Bean, what about you? If you can't get a quarterback in the first round, is there a quarterback that you're comfortable taking?
Yeah, I mean, I'd hate to, like, I haven't even really started, digging into the quarterbacks. Me and Dom were talking about some cool shit that we're gonna do, and starting with the quarterbacks. So I wait till the end of the season to really, because there's, what we end up doing, and anybody can do anything they want, but just from for me, what we end up doing is, like, in the middle of the season, we're doing mocks and we're doing all this shit. And then by the time it's like before the draft, like we're 2 weeks before the draft, everybody's mocked out. And that's when we should really be digging in. That's what I like. So I don't even really start. Like, I'm looking at some guys, I'm watching stuff. I'm still in like highlight land. You know what I mean? So it's hard to say if there's a quarterback, who I'm looking at later in the rounds. I'll tell you, Pavi is interesting, just from what I see. Like, I like that kind of, I'm not using a first round pick on him or anything, but if he's there later, that kind of ballsy guy, that Baker-esque attitude running around, especially if you can't get your guy in the first, I think that's fun. But again, this is very preliminary, so I'd hate to, really commit to anything, Sam, but I want to get somebody that I know. I want to get a quarterback in here and not be seeing an undrafted free agent at the end of the year.
Matt, what about you? Outside of the first round, any quarterbacks you keeping an eye on?
Well, the guy that I always use as my answer for this just decided to go back to school in 𝐒𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐵𝐼, so I can't use that one anymore. I guess Darian Mensah. I'll give some does Dom C some love. Maybe Dom C has him graded as a first rounder, but I don't think he's consensus first round yet. So that might be my cop-out answer for now.
He's light. That's kind of the drawback with him. He's like 205, and I think he's 6'2", maybe 6'1". Maybe not
6'2" and a half.
6'2" and a half. I definitely like him. I think the personality fits, and based on like some of the other breakdowns I've watched of him, is very appealing. So it sounds like maybe later on in the process, combine, pro day, if he does come out, could start shifting higher and higher up draft boards. Maybe Don will be right and he'll wind up being a first round guy. I mean, think about how many quarterbacks between Penix and Bo Nix and McCarthy, a lot of those guys were considered second, third round picks this time going into the draft. And then as we got closer, all of them wound up being top 12 picks. So entirely possible this changes and shifts. Where was I? 𝐒𝐫𝐞𝐫𝐢 says, if the Jets lose out, are they in the top 3 spot? If the Jets lose out, it kind of depends on what happens in front of us, because one of the Giants or Vegas is going to have to win, or they're going to get a tie. Actually, a tie is probably the best case scenario for us, because that would leap us in front of both of them, because they would have less losses than us.
Oh, that'd be so great.
That would be incredible. That would be absolutely wild if it worked out that way.
I'd love it.
Do the Titans play Cleveland? Am I remembering that right? Hold on. I got to look at this again. I might be wrong. No, they don't.
So?
No. So Cleveland's remaining schedule is Buffalo, the Steelers, and the Bengals. So I think the Bengals are the only chance at winning, and even then, I think more than likely they lose out. The Titans have to play the Saints and have to play the Chiefs. So we have an opportunity, maybe if they beat the Saints, to leapfrog them. The Chiefs, they don't have Patrick Mahomes anymore, so that becomes more of a coin flip game than it would have been. Then you've got the Raiders, who have the Giants and the Chiefs. Luckily for us, again, no Mahomes makes that a potential for a win. And then they got the Texans. I think they're going to lose to the Texans. So, and then the Giants are the Raiders, the Cowboys, and the Vikings. So, like, there is a pathway for the Jets to have a very, very high pick. I think 4 is kind of where I feel comfortable saying we're going to land. I think one of the Giants or Vegas is going to, well, I guess if Vegas wins, they fall behind us. And then we'd be 4. Yeah, I feel like the Jets will be picking 4. Can we get a top 3 spot? Yes, but I think it's more likely we're picking 4. Matt, where do you think the Jets ultimately end up based on the schedules remaining for those teams?
I don't want to be a copycat, but that 4 sounds like a really good prediction, Ryan. I think you nailed it. I don't think they get into the top 3, and I think we just hope and pray that the Raiders don't end up with the number 1 pick.
Bean, what about you? Where do you think we ultimately finish out?
I'm just sitting tight. I'm just watching it all unfold. I'm watching
no predictions.
Shock and everybody. I'm telling you, man, we're just gonna sit here and lose, and everybody else is gonna be fighting to prove shit, and they're gonna win one, and we're gonna slide right into the number 1 overall pick for the first time in 37 years. We're not gonna have to trade anything, and then you're gonna see it's on like mother effing Donkey Kong at the draft party. It's going to be nuts. And the Colts are losing out, and we're going to get pick 13 from them.
Oh,
it's going to be great. 1 in 13, everybody. That's our picks.
If we get the number 1 overall pick, we are going to be so fucking rowdy because we know we're not trading out, and we know we're getting our guy, and we don't have to trade up to do it. And then everything else, I don't want to say everything else is house money, but then all 3 first-round picks next year are at our disposal. Our 2 second-round picks, the Colts pick, like, oh man, that would just be chef's kiss. Oh man,
my only concern is this. This is my only concern. We fired Wilks, and the defense is going to be all fired up.
And it's this week. This is the week we need to not have that happen.
The 1 week we need that not to. I would really love a 31-point first quarter against the Saints, our defense, that is.
Yes.
I would really love that, man. But it spooks me a little bit. We're shaking up the tank here, stirring it all up. I don't like it. But if we just lose out, just take care of what we can take care of. Lose, and watch the Giants win one, watch the Raiders win one, watch the Browns win one, and everybody else, the Titans and everything, and we're going to slide right in there.
There is a pathway for it to happen.
There is. Still there. Still exists.
JJ says, I have been to every Jets playoff game ever, including number 3. Wow. I can tell you that I wish I spent way more money. I can tell you that I wish I spent. I'm having a very hard. He's saying, I wish I was able to go to every. He wishes he was able to go to more playoff games, so he spent more money. That's what he's hoping. That's what he was wishing for. Wow, that took me a little minute to get there. I'm sorry, JJ.
What is including 3, though? What does that
He
mean?
went to Super Bowl 3. He was at Super Bowl 3. He's been to every playoff game for the Jets. That's impressive.
Wow.
I mean, home playoff games, there can't be many. Well, he didn't say home playoff. He just said Jets playoff game.
Every playoff game. That's crazy town.
That's
impressed.
Awesome. That's very impressive. JJ, you're the man. We love you, dude.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
Jake in the chat. What's good, Jake? Says talking Jets is saving lives and improving our world. Damn right.
That's our goal. That's what we're doing.
I like that Jake Asman guy. He's all right.
He's all right, that guy.
Eric. What's up, Eric? Says, just curious with Lazard cut, is there any dead cap for next season? And are we done with Rodgers and Adams? Let me just pull up over the cap. I believe everything's done. But I will tell you in 1 minute.
Well, no, they split Rodgers over the 2 years.
The 2 years. So he'll have in 2026. Where's our dead cap? How do we see dead cap here?
Dead cap.
I love dead cap.
So we're going to have 71 million in dead cap. Click to show itemized dead cap. There we go. Okay, so we got a lot of money. So Aaron Rodgers, 35 million dead cap. Sauce is going to count towards 11. Quinnen is going to be 9.8. CJ Mosley, 7.6. Michael Carter II, 6.8. And then everything after that is relatively peanuts. You got Corley, Warren, Barnes, JBC, and a bunch of other names that aren't going to account for a whole heck of a lot. The big ones are really Rodgers at 35, Sauce at 11, Quinnen at almost 10, Mosley, Michael Carter II. Those 5 account for, 46, 56, like almost the entirety of the $70 million basically is from those 5 players. So there is no dead cap for Lazard. There is no dead cap for Jamal Adams. So it's just the Rodgers amount. Dante, just imagine, go with me, follow me now, suspend reality. Imagine a world where the Jets win the division. Let's put it out in the universe. Hey, you know what? Let's manifest it. I'm kind of just banking on the let's manifest the quarterback thing first, and the rest can all follow suit. But hey, you know what? I will speak positively on this. Love it, Dante. O'Leary, can you head over to last week's stream? Let's get some time.
Wow, it's 10 o'clock.
It's like, yeah,
holy
we
shit!
got
this,
5
this
minutes
flew.
left. This thing just zipped on by us.
How are we doing that, Dante? What's going on?
I don't know. Move so quick.
All right, I got some timestamps if we're ready. Green bean.
Yeah. Let's do it. I'm ready.
We got Tank for Ty. We got Sing Sing and Gangrene 44.
Ooh.
Got it.
Guys, if you want to get in on next week's prize wheel without having to qualify in the Nightbot live chat, all you got to do is leave a timestamp comment down below. Shout out one of your questions that you super chat in. Shout out a favorite part of your stream or of this stream, and then bam, you're qualified. We only had 3 last week. Those guys easily qualified. Boom.
Yeah. And I just got the last one in for tonight, which is M123XYZ. You're the last qualifier from this stream. So we got 45.
45. All right. Chat. 5th number, 1 through 45, is going to be our winner. Give me some numbers.
Let's do it, everybody.
Come on, chat.
Spam them.
Slow. There we go. Boom. 15. Who's 15, Green Bean?
Oh, I was looking up. You see, I saw it in the chat. Tua's getting benched, and they're going to play Zach or something. Number 15. That's JJ Hamza.
Aha,
Hey.
JJ.
It is.
You know what? I like that.
Congrats, JJ.
JJ, thank you so much
Well
for hanging
deserved.
out with us and watching every playoff game ever in person. You get something from the spin wheel. Let's see what happens. Come on, JJ. What's he getting? Oh, oh, geez.
That's close.
So close. He gets a hat. JJ, you get yourself a green beanie or you get a ball cap. Reach out. jetstalk247@gmail.com or talkinjetshow@gmail.com. Shoot us your mailing address and which style hat you want, cap or beanie. We'll get it sent out to you and sent your way. Thank you so much for playing. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Boys and girls, we have reached the end of our show tonight. Let's go around, give our closing thoughts. Green Bean, any last words?
Yeah, sure. We're going to hang out at 10:30 over at Green Bean Jets Fan and chit-chat until the wee hours. So come hang.
Ooh, Matt, what you got going on?
I'll be on with Jeremy tomorrow afternoon, 3 o'clock live on my channel. Come hang for some Jets talk, baby. Let's do it.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. Boys and girls, it's going to be a lot of fun heading into these last 3 weeks. Going to be hoping for some competitive losses, higher draft picks. Keep an eye on the college football playoffs. Let's monitor all these quarterbacks, both for this year and next year, because who knows what winds up happening. But we'll be back here next week, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock with you guys talking Jets. JETS.
Just go somewhere else. I can't take this nonsense anymore. How are you going to blame the defense?
I got the pouch. Screw green bean. Damn it.
But once you get to the sausage, I feel like we're doing something.
Go Jets.
there. No, come on.
What would you give up to see a Jets Super Bowl?
All of my friends and family.
Hit those milk thumbs, boys and girls.
Freeze frame.
Hold on to your underwear, ladies, and stand by, bitches. It's now time for Talkin' Jets with your hosts, Matt, Ryan, and Green Bean.